All right, so you've probably heard a ton about AI agents lately. But the real story, the interesting part, isn't just about the cool stuff they can do. It's about how we actually build them. I mean, how do you create an AI that's super powerful and independent, but at the same time, totally reliable and safe? Well, that's the big design puzzle we're going to tackle today.
And really, it all boils down to this one fundamental question every single designer is facing right now. Do you want a wild, super creative agent with maximum freedom, one that might solve problems in ways you could never even predict? Or do you want a perfectly obedient tool where you have total, rigid control over every single move it makes? It's like walking a tightrope, and that's exactly what we're exploring. Okay, so before we can even get to the solution, we first have to really appreciate the problem, right? Let's start with the appeal of autonomy. I mean, what does it actually mean for an AI to be agentic? Where does all that incredible power really come from?
The key word here, the one you really need to focus on, is autonomously. See, this isn't just some dumb script following a pre-written list of commands. No, a true agent looks at a goal, designs its own workflow, and then just goes and does it. It doesn't need a human to hold its hand and approve every little step. That independence, that's its superpower.
And this whole agentic behavior thing, it's really built on three main pillars. First, you've got autonomy, that independence we were just talking about. Then there's reactivity, the ability to see what's happening and respond to it in real time. But this third one, proactivity, this is the real game changer. This is what separates the basic from the brilliant. It means the agent isn't just sitting around waiting for something to happen. It's actively thinking ahead, making strategic moves to hit its long-term goals.
And you can actually see how this intelligence has evolved over time, kind of like a species. It all started with these really simple if-then reflex agents. But then came a huge leap, agents that could build an internal model of their world. From there, they learned to chase goals, then to weigh different outcomes to get the best result. And finally, we get to where we are now, with learning agents. These are the systems that actually get smarter and more efficient with every single thing they do.
Okay, so that kind of autonomy sounds pretty amazing, right? Almost limitless. But what happens when you give an agent too much freedom? Well, that brings us to the other side of the coin, the absolute, non-negotiable need for structure. Because let me tell you, pure, unchecked autonomy, it has a dark side. And this quote from OpenAI, it just absolutely nails it. The consensus from all the big players is crystal clear. The answer isn't to pick a side. Building successful, reliable agents isn't a choice between total freedom and total control. No, the real magic, the secret sauce, it happens somewhere right in the middle. So the big question is, how do we find that middle ground? Well, you build in guardrails. For example, we use techniques like chain of thought reasoning. This basically forces the agent to show its work, to think step by step so we can actually follow its logic. We also give it memory, so it can learn from what it's done before. And maybe most importantly, for those really critical decisions, we build in a human in the loop. This just ensures a person always has the final say when it really, really matters.
And when you combine this freedom with these guardrails, it brings us right to the core idea of this whole explainer: bending without breaking. It's all about creating a hybrid system, one that has the awesome flexibility of an autonomous agent, but also the rock-solid reliability of a structured process. This is the sweet spot we've been looking for.
The really crucial shift in thinking you have to make is this. It's not either or. It's not a choice you have to make between freedom or control. The very best systems, the ones that are really going to change things, are both and. They're designed from the ground up to strategically blend the two, using each one for what it does best.
And here, this is basically the playbook for how to do it. So on one side, you've got structure. This is for the stuff that absolutely, positively cannot fail. Think about critical business logic, like, say, processing a payment. You want that to be rigid, predictable code, every single time. But then, on the other side, you have autonomy. This is for all the messy, unpredictable parts of a job. So imagine that same agent now has to read a customer's angry email about that payment, trying to understand the nuance, the emotion, all that unstructured text. That is a perfect job for a flexible, autonomous LLM.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. This is stuff that's being built right now. You've got frameworks like Llama Index workflows that are designed for exactly this kind of thing. They let developers string together tasks using a mix of predictable, hard-coded steps for reliability and then inject flexible decisions from an LLM for adaptability. It's literally that playbook we just saw, but turned into a practical tool.
Okay, so why should you care about all this design philosophy? What does it actually mean for the real world? Well, let's zoom out and look at the impact.
Because when you get this balance right, AI agents stop being just a cool tech demo and they start becoming a genuinely transformational tool.
And believe me, the potential is already staggering. Get this, a recent study found that the agents we have today can autonomously handle over 30% of complex software development tasks. We're talking about things like debugging code or writing documentation. That's not some wild prediction for the future, that is happening right now. It just shows this massive potential to boost productivity, even in the most highly skilled jobs out there.
And this transformation, it's not just in one place. It's happening all across the board. In manufacturing, you've got agents coordinating entire production lines. In finance, they're assessing market risk faster than any human ever could. In healthcare, they're assisting doctors with diagnostics and personalizing treatment plans. This balanced approach is unlocking brand new possibilities, literally everywhere.
So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. This hybrid design, it isn't a compromise. It is a massive upgrade. By strategically balancing that freedom with structure, we end up with agents that aren't just powerful, they're also reliable, they're debuggable when things go wrong, and most importantly, they're safe enough to actually use out in the real world.
And that leaves us with one final, and I think crucial thought. As these agents get more and more woven into our work and our lives, they're going to start feeling less like simple tools and more like partners. So the biggest challenge we all face now is this. How do we keep perfecting this delicate balance between freedom and control